I saw it again last night." The words trembled out of Jonah's mouth as he stared at the fire, the flames dancing in his wide, haunted eyes. The others, his sister Emma, their cousin Tyler, and childhood friend Casey, froze. The crackling of the fire, once comforting, now seemed to hiss with dread. They were four friends, bound by blood, history, and one dark truth that had haunted their family's land in the dense forests of Vermont. Every summer since they were kids, they came to the old cabin inherited from their grandfather. But this summer was different. Something had followed Jonah from the woods. And it was watching. 21 years earlier. Jonah was only 6 when his father disappeared. Sheriff's deputies combed the thick forests for weeks but found nothing except an old hunting knife left stabbed into a tree stump, rusted and slick with something too dark to be sap. His mother never spoke about it. She packed up their life and left Vermont behind, taking him to live with relatives in Arizona. But the nightmares never left. Always the same, a presence just beyond the trees, glowing amber eyes, and whispers in a tongue he didn't understand. When he turned 27, something pulled him back. The return to Hollow Pine. Jonah wasn't the only one who felt the pull. Emma, a bright and pragmatic schoolteacher, Tyler, a paramedic with a quiet temper, and Casey, an aspiring journalist with a camera always around her neck, they all agreed to meet at the cabin for one last summer. One last trip to reconnect and relive the old days. The first 2 days were filled with laughter, fishing, hiking, and beer around the fire pit. But then Jonah began waking up screaming. On the third night, they found claw marks on the cabin's back door. Casey brushed it off. "It's probably a bear or a coyote. You're all just wound up." But Jonah knew better. He remembered the way his father's eyes looked the night before he vanished, distant, like he was already gone. And now Jonah felt it too. Something unseen. Something ancient. The first encounter. Tyler was the first to see it, a tall figure lurking between the birch trees as he gathered firewood. At first, he thought it was just shadows. Then it moved against the wind. Slow, deliberate. Watching. He dropped the logs and ran back to the cabin. His face, usually calm under pressure, was pale and soaked in sweat. "We need to leave now," he said. But Jonah refused. "We can't. Not yet. It wants something. I think it always did." That night, he told them everything about the dreams, about his father's disappearance, about the whispers. And the dreams were getting clearer. "They're not just dreams," Jonah said. "They're memories. And they're not mine." The truth beneath the soil. Casey, skeptical but determined to help, started digging through the old newspaper archives at the local library. What she found chilled her blood. There had been disappearances going back generations, all near the same stretch of forest behind the cabin. Men, mostly. Hunters, loggers, wanderers. Every 20 to 30 years. All gone without a trace. She also found a journal. Belonging to Jonah's grandfather. The entries were erratic, rambling, almost incoherent. But one stuck out. "It watches. Always watching. We made a mistake years ago. Took what we shouldn't. Now it takes in return. The forest keeps the balance." Emma, always the voice of reason, tried to piece it together. Maybe someone disturbed something sacred. A burial ground? Or something older? Jonah knew. Deep inside, he knew. His father had once told him about the iron tree, a twisted, blackened oak at the forest's heart. Locals feared it. Said it was cursed. Jonah's father went there the night before he disappeared. And now, Jonah had to go too. Into the heart of the woods. Despite their protests, Jonah went alone. He left a note by the fire and vanished before dawn. But Emma, Tyler, and Casey weren't about to let him face it alone. They followed. Hours into the forest, the trees grew silent. Not a single bird. The sun barely reached through the thick canopy. Then, they saw it. The iron tree. charred, misshapen, and surrounded by a ring of stones. At its base, a hollow cavity, and inside, bones. Human bones. Dozens. Jonah knelt before it. This is it. The offering ground. They tried to bury the truth here. He placed his father's knife, found months ago buried in the attic, into the hollow. And then it came. The Watcher. It was taller than a man, draped in shadow and bark, its face a twisted blend of animal and earth. Glowing eyes. Long, branch-like limbs. It didn't attack. It watched. Emma stepped forward. We're not here to take. We're here to end this. Jonah, trembling, spoke aloud. You've kept balance. They stole from you. I return what was taken. End it with me, not with them. The Watcher tilted its head. For a moment, time stood still. Then, it turned and vanished into the trees. The iron tree cracked down the middle, splitting with a deafening groan. The forest exhaled. Aftermath. They returned to the cabin, shaken but alive. That night, the forest was still. No whispers. No eyes in the dark. Jonah, though changed, was finally at peace. He'd faced the terror that had haunted his bloodline for decades. And won not with violence, but with understanding and sacrifice. Epilogue. Casey's article about the legend of Hollow Pine went viral. But she left out the real truth. Some things are better left in the woods. Jonah now lives in a small town nearby, working as a forest guide. Emma returned to her school with a deeper respect for nature. Tyler moved on, volunteering with missing persons in remote areas. They never spoke of it again. But sometimes, when the wind rustles through the trees just right, they remember. And they feel it. Still watching, but no longer waiting. Sometimes, the scariest things aren't monsters with claws, but truths buried beneath our feet, forgotten by time and remembered by the earth. What we fear may only want to be seen, to be heard, and above all, to be respected.